joined Shaq with a 4th ring with the Lakers over the past 6 seasons. Al Michaels with Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya. Welcome to Los Angeles. A real 5-star regular season matchup. And Doc, when the Lakers added Malone and Payton to go with Shaq and Kobe during the offseason, some people thought this was a team capable of winning 70 games. They won't, but the way they're playing right now with 11 straight wins, they look like a team that could have won 70 games.
Yeah, they do, and we forget they started out the season 18-3. Playing basketball as far as they were winning games, but not really playing great. Now they're playing great. They're playing like a team. They're playing defense. They're doing all the things that Phil Jackson thought they would do if they could have stayed healthy.
Now, what about the Spurs in terms of where they are, relatively speaking? Are they positioned in about the same spot as they were last year at this time to win a championship? Can they do it again?
Yeah, they could. You know, you look at their team, no David Robinson, but Nastarovich has really played good basketball for them. The difference is the Lakers. You know, last year there was no one playing great. This year the Lakers are playing great, so that's their obstacle.
And the Lakers have won all 3 meetings between these 2 teams this season, albeit none have been played over the last 4 months. The Bud Light starting lineups for you. Turkoglu, Tim Duncan, and Nastarovich up front for San Antonio. Rick Fox. Karl Malone is back and playing brilliantly, and Shaq in the middle. Then you have Tony Parker and Bruce Bowen in the backcourt, and Bowen will be in Kobe Bryant's face all day long. Gary Payton and Bryant in the backcourt for Los Angeles. And let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Al, you said it. One matchup to watch. Bruce Bowen versus Kobe Bryant. Some have called Bruce Bowen a dirty player. Phil Jackson describes it another way. He calls Bruce Bowen, quote, a foul maniac. And he doesn't want Kobe Bryant to take the bait and try to conquer him one-on-one. He wants Kobe to get his scoring off passes and cuts. On the other side, Greg Popovich told me if Kobe hits his first 3 jump shots, he doesn't want Bowen to get frustrated and go foul him the next time down. Either way, it's one of the best defenders in the league, Al, versus one of the hottest players in the West.
And one of the big reasons San Antonio won their playoff series against the Lakers last season was Bowen, both offensively and defensively, as Nastarovich starts the game with a 2-pointer for San Antonio.
And they start the game in pick and roll. One of the things that Phil Jackson said before, that Shaq's doing a better job of, but that's exactly where everyone attacks the Lakers is by putting them in the pick and roll.
The Lakers right now with Sacramento winning today, tied for the best record in the Western Conference as Shaq ties the game. At the moment, Sacramento would have the tiebreaker because they won 2 of the 3 regular season meetings between these 2 teams, and the 2 teams will meet on ABC next Sunday afternoon. Duncan missing. Shaquille with the rebound, and for those of you who've just watched Detroit take on Indiana, Al Michaels, Doc Rivers, and Michelle Tafoya in Los Angeles. The game just underway. The game tied 2-2. The Pistons knocking off Indiana. Rick Fox comes down, and before he can get the pass over to O'Neal, traveling against the Lakers. The Lakers, 11 straight wins, pretty much coinciding with the return from the knee injury of Karl Malone. And San Antonio, very quietly, they've won 5 straight, playing very well. Tim Duncan on the mend, back from a minor knee problem. Nastarovich again, and that's 2 for 2 from that exact same spot.
Yeah, you can see where they're trying to attack. Again, you play the Lakers, you will see a lot of pick and rolls. The key, though, is the big guys have to make the shots. Nastarovich has made 2 shots already.
Nastarovich coming off a good month. He, of course, played with Minnesota since he came into the NBA in the late 90s, and he's the man taking the spot filled by David Robinson. Payton has to come back outside now. Bryant, who's been fabulous since the All-Star break, doesn't get the bounce, and Turkoglu with a rebound for the defending champions.
And now you look at Nastarovich, and again, Greg Popovich was talking about this today. You don't see that beautiful body of David Robinson, but he's really doing more work than David Robinson for this team right now.
They're very happy with him, the job he has done. Of course, one change for the Spurs is Turkoglu is now a starter. Ginobili comes off the bench, and Bryant can't get that one to drop either. And Ginobili's done a phenomenal job. Parker can't save it as he steps on the line.
And right now, advantage Bruce Bowen. When you look at the matchup between Kobe Bryant and Bruce Bowen, you can see Kobe trying to attack him early instead of letting it come through the offense. That's what Phil Jackson was talking about. He didn't want Bryant to do.
We saw Greg Popovich. He's won 2 rings. These 2 teams have won the last 5 NBA titles. 2 for the Spurs, 3 for the Lakers as Payton drops one in before remaining. Opening quarter in Los Angeles. The Lakers with a home-heavy closing schedule. They played so many games on the road in January and February because of other events that were taking place here at Staples, and the benefit of that was when you got through that, they've been home almost for 3 weeks, and they'll be on the road only next Sunday at Sacramento, and then once more at Portland on closing night. Turkoglu trying to work his way through Fox, and then dishes it off to Parker, but throws it into the lap of Frank Hamblin, one of the Laker assistant coaches.
You look at the Spurs, and Duncan obviously has not been healthy. He's starting to get healthy. They're starting to get their confidence. You know, you look at this West race, anybody can end up in that one spot, including the Spurs.
No question. And of course, you have Memphis in a position not only going to the playoffs for the first time, but a chance to wind up in the top half, which would give them home court advantage in the first round. By the way, the first round this year used to be 3 of 5, is 4 of 7. So you have to win 16 games and not 15 anymore to win the title. Bryant, he's free.
You see the difference there? Now, Kobe scored coming out of the offense, getting it out of the offense. That was not a one-on-one move against Bowen. That's what Jackson wants him to do this afternoon.
And then Parker drains one over Payton to tie the game at 8. Bowen picking Bryant up in backcourt, and again last year getting in his face throughout that 6-game series. And then Bowen was so hot in the playoffs from three-point land. He led the league in that department last year. And the foul right there is on Bowen. The crowd likes that.
Yeah, and that was set up by Phil Jackson's article this morning. You know, coaches are brilliant. They plant things in the articles because they know the refs are going to read them. He called him a foul maniac, you know. So the refs are looking for that.
O'Neal banking one in. Yeah, right, that close. Take a look at Bryant. Over the last 3 years, only 42.5% with Bowen guarding him. His career mark is 46%. And there, of course, is the guy who is, you know, the pest of pests in the NBA.
And we're just going to watch the matchup early. See, that's the type of offense that Jackson doesn't want. Kobe's going to get some of that, but he wants him to get it more out of the offense instead of just trying to create his own shot. This is playing with your teammates. Give and go out. He gets it and he makes it. That's getting it through the offense.
One of those phrases, Doc, that just it never goes away. I love it. It went away and came back. Lakers inbound, and Malone is totally free for a 17-footer. O'Neal is there and rolls it back in.
Yeah, nice out-of-timeout play by the Lakers. They get a wide-open shot, but not only that, they get Shaq standing under the basket for the rebound.
Now Parker. Malone is right there. Gary Payton getting ever more comfortable in this offense, and he has been the one mainstay. Medvedenko wide open. Bingo.
That's what I mean by the Kobe Bryant being the light. That one play changed the whole emotion of this game. That's the difference. Look at this streak right here. That's not good.
Take a look. Have your eyes focus on the middle right-hand column. The win by 24, the win by 17 over Sacramento and Minnesota. The two really key games here. And then the rest of the games, for the most part, pretty tight. Couple in overtime against Orlando and Milwaukee. So the Lakers, in a way, playing to the level of the opposition, but 11-0 now. A few minutes ago, there was a play. Devin Brown and San Antonio wanted a foul called on O'Neal as Brown worked his way in, and here was a little bit of an interchange between Tim Duncan and the veteran official Joey Crawford following that play.
He gets beat up in there, nothing happens. It was the same ride.
No, kids, Kobe's trying to get to the basket.
Devin was trying to
Wait
get
a
to the
minute,
basket too.
A to B, and he winds up at C.
That's the same
Devin
thing with
who?
him. Oh, come on now. Don't
No, I'm
say that.
serious. I don't even know what you're talking about. Which play? I don't even know the one kid's name.
Devin Brown.
Devin, Joe Crawford. Nice to meet you.
What a great sequence that is.
That really is. I mean, Jason Hurst should go over and introduce himself since he has a tech also. But listen, as rookies, you are told as a rookie player to go introduce yourself to the official and make sure you know the official's name. Obviously, Devin didn't do that to Joey Crawford before the game.
Then he should have introduced himself to Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
Shaq is on the bench with his 3 fouls. George goes to the hoop and makes it a 1-point game.
As a rookie, it's Mr. and Sir. Next year, he can call him Joey Crawford.
Third year, you're a bum.
Yes.
Ginobili behind his back to Nesterovic, but it doesn't go, and then the rebound is not off Ori, as there was a Laker who reached in.
I tell you what, Ginobili just makes things. Watch him play without the ball. Then he gets it. Malone helps. Great pass by Ginobili. Unfortunately, Nesterovic couldn't finish.
Ginobili steps behind the line for a 3 and gets it. That's 9 points for the man who's become their 6th man, and dynamic 6th man.
And their energy player. You know, you look at Kobe Bryant being the energy player for the Lakers. Ginobili is for the Spurs.
Hayden. Bryant for 3. Got it. You know, for Sacramento would have gone up 3 games to 1. The ball comes back out to the top of the key as the clock goes to triple zeros. Insanity. Lakers go on to win the title.
Yeah, and that was a huge game, obviously. Think about it. If Ori misses that shot, the Kings could be king right now.
Yep. And don't they know that?
Oh, every day.
Luke Walton comes into the game with less than 3 minutes to play. San Antonio up by 3. Bowen gets it into Duncan, who misses. And Luke Walton with the rebound. 8 lead changes. The game's been tied 7 times. Peyton all the way. Gets the bounce.
It's up into you. He bumps you. He reaches. He plays little games by pulling a chair from you. He slides his feet. He is never away from the ball, and his hands are always moving, and that equals aggravation, and at the end of the day, a lower field goal percentage.
Only a guy from Marquette could have figured that out. See, I went to Ding Dong School with Miss Francis, and I still couldn't figure that out.
Well, look at that, 3 for 14, see? And that's that equation works perfectly.
Sounds great to me.
Bruce Bowen.
But, you know, how are they getting along and all of that? Jackson must have been a Trappist monk in some other life as Bryant takes it to the hoop.
You know, I found it interesting that Phil Jackson told us, he said, hey, guys, this isn't as easy as coaching in Chicago. Coaching in L.A. is pretty tough.
Very different. Michelle?
Yeah, you may remember that after the All-Star break, Kobe Bryant and Phil Jackson exchanged what Jackson called, quote, disparaging remarks. So Phil called Bryant into his office and said, look, our team relationship is just for this year. We're working for this season. You have to put your energy in the right place. And Jackson told us since then, Kobe made an effort to be on time, be a team player, and he's become a totally different player working with the team and bringing this team to where it is right now.
And as Doc said before, I mean, he would probably be, from the All-Star break on, the league's MVP.
And having said all that, you look up at the score.
Yep.
They're down 9 points. And the San Antonio Spurs, who no one really ever talks about, just keeps chugging along through the season. And what Greg Popovich said before the game, to me, I found very interesting. Believing that they could still win the title this year. And he didn't care about the Lakers. I like that a lot.
And then O'Neal puts it in and gets fouled.
They have to get him involved. If Shaq gets involved, this is a different game. You know, he gets so deep. Nesterovic, the problem he had there was he gave ground. You can't give ground to Shaquille O'Neal. You can make him bump you off of pace, but you just can't give him ground, and he did.
3-point play, 6-point game. Nesterovic's third foul. You know, we're talking about Shaq and Kobe and getting along and all that. The other night, locally on Fox Sports, they brought in 5 women to announce the game. the Lakers against Houston. Shawnee O'Neal was there, Shaq's wife, and Kurt Rambis's wife, and Jeannie Buss, as Bryant drives all the way in. Shawnee O'Neal said, you know, they're like brothers, no matter what everybody tries to make of Shaq and Kobe's relationship and all that. It's like crap. They're like brothers. Yeah. That was what Shawnee said. Now, she meant, you know, brothers in the sibling sense, not in the neighborhood. But you get it. Running just 49 ticks.
And the two guys involved are Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal.
Bryant now with 17 points, leading the Lakers in scoring. Parker taken away by Malone.
The quick hands of Karl Malone.
And the Laker hot streak very much coinciding with the return of Malone, who missed 40 games with the knee injury. Shaq can't get the bounce, but Bryant, beautiful rebound, and softly puts it through.
The two guys we said at halftime who had to get involved are Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and they're both doing it on both ends right now.
And that came off of a Malone steal, and then Parker, for the moment, stems the tide to make it a 4-point game again. 20 points for Tony Parker. Kevin Willis in the game, working on Shaq, who gives it to Fox.
You could see that play developing before the pass. A great cut by Rick Fox. Great pass by Shaq.
The two oldest guys in the NBA are in the game right now. Willis at 41. Malone at 40. Bowen missing, and there's Willis. Turkoglu. Bowen. And then Duncan gets his hand on it. No foul is called. The Lakers come back with it. Payton. Fox was free. And then a good play by Turkoglu.
That was great transition defense and a horrible break from the Lakers.
Whip pass over to Duncan. Malone bodies him, creates the turnover again. Now Payton. Fall away. Got it. Tie game. It may be a new century and all that, but it's still showtime.
But they're doing it on the defensive end.
Parker to Willis underneath. And the only guy in the league who could call Malone kid puts it in. 58-56. Bryant lost the handle on the way up. And now here comes Duncan running the floor. And Malone reaches in for the foul.
You know what I like about this game is getting chippy. You know?
Yeah.
It really is. You can see it. You can see both teams really getting into this game right now. I mean, that was a hard foul by Karl Malone. And that was a hard foul on purpose. Not to hurt, but to send a message.
Parker missing. Fox with the rebound. And the Lakers need a win to go back up by a half game over Sacramento, with the Kings having won today in Houston. Shaq puts it in. Six and a half remaining in the third, and San Antonio back on top.
The oldest guy on the floor outran everybody. That's what makes Kevin Willis important for the Spurs. He can still run.
Payton. What's amazing is in a Mr. America contest, age notwithstanding, Malone and Willis might finish 1-2 as Bowen puts that one in from the corner.
What's amazing is Bruce Bowen takes 70% of his shots from the corner, and he still gets open in the corner.
They know he's going to shoot. He puts in the three there. Spurs up by 3. Fox contested over Ginobili.
Not a good
Willis
shot.
for the rebound.
Not a good shot, especially at that time.
Duncan over O'Neal.
Now that was a running, wrong foot, right-handed runner by a 7-footer.
Mini teardrop. He's otherworldly, which he's proven, especially over the last 2 years. Duncan has 8 points in the game. Maybe more than next season because of all of the time he lost this year. Charles Oakley, of course, who Houston picked up recently and played in this building the other night, would be the other 40-plus guy. So the question with Malone is how much longer. What will happen if he wins that championship this year? Does he stick around to try to top Kareem? 65-62.
I don't think he would play to top Kareem. I think Karl Malone plays because he likes playing basketball. And I think if he does come back, it has nothing to do with those numbers. He's going to come back because he just really wants to play.
He needs about 1,500 points. And his days of really averaging 20 points a game are kind of in the past, so he'd need more than a year and a fraction. Tim Duncan bangs that one home.
A broken play, but that's the difference between Gary Payton now and Gary Payton 5 years ago. Tony Parker right now is going around Payton almost every time or anytime he wants to, and it's really causing the Lakers some problems.
Bryant gets nothing but air, and then George tries to knock it off Ginobili's body, but can't.
I think Tony Parker in this little stretch, though both shots have been made by Duncan, have been caused by Tony Parker's ability to get into the paint.
Parker has 20 points. Duncan has 10 points. Bowen 12. And now Tim all of a sudden has doubled his point total in about 2.5 minutes. To the consternation of Phil Jackson after he watched his team battle back, tie it up, and now the Lakers are going to take a timeout because San Antonio starts to pull away again. Ginobili doesn't get the bounce, but then gets it back as the Lakers throw it away.
That's Ginobili 100% right there. He misses a layup, gets to the bucket, you get upset, and then bam, he gets right back into it.
Duncan. George all over him, but he goes in and over Shaq, can't get the roll. And then Shaq runs into Ginobili. Guess who got the worst of that? George for 3. And Ginobili all
a chance of going in right off his hands.
Willis dropped it, got it back underneath.
The biggest play of this game thus far is Greg Popovich subbing in Kevin Willis during that Laker run, and he felt at the time that the Lakers were out-toughing the Spurs, and that has all changed since Willis has been in the game.
Perfect substitution. Shaq long on the shot. George is there. He's long as well.
And he's frustrated as well.
Yep, and Duncan got whacked on the play as San Antonio comes up with it.
I mean, this is Ginobili just doing what he does. Drives and passes as well as any two-guard in our league.
Ginobili on a per-minute basis, the most steals in the league. Meanwhile, Devin George has just committed his 4th foul. Fisher comes back in.
Ginobili's just involved in the game. You know, sometimes he's too involved with his energy. But Pop called him, in his opinion, the most competitive player in this league.
Devin Brown in. Payton with a rebound. Gary off balance in the lane, got it to drop. 5-point game again. San Antonio, as we come into this game, they're a game and a half back of Minnesota in the Midwest Division. It's just wild. You've got
it really is.
And Memphis is still there. I mean, Memphis is number 5 right now. But if Memphis loses that game, San Antonio wins this game. That would make it a 2.5 game difference between the 4th and 5th teams, and that's of course a big difference because it's the difference between home court in the first round or no home court. Bruce Bowen comes back in. Bryant O'Neal gets the rebound. So Kobe back in the game after he spent the first 2.5 minutes of the fourth quarter on the bench. And Bryant gets inside Parker, and then it is Bowen who comes in from the side to block it away.
And again, the Lakers are struggling in the half court because the Spurs are playing great pressure, tough-nosed defense right now.
Kobe by Bowen, but then inside Duncan is there. And then Parker straight arms Fisher. No call, and then the three-pointer missed by Turkoglu. Malone.
You see earlier in the game when Malone drove, and I think Robert Horry was the guy who took the charge. They've learned their lesson. Everyone got out of the way.
That's Malone's first field goal of the game.
The only way the Lakers can score right now, though, is in the open court.
Duncan over Malone.
Yes. And
picking up his fourth foul. Ginobili off the back iron, and Gary Payton now. And the crowd trying to get the Lakers into rhythm here. Under 7 minutes to play. Bowen wants to travel. He's not going to get that. Instead, you're going to get a foul here. Foul is on Willis, his first person. That's 14 fouls now on both teams with 6.5, more than 6.5 to go.
But you look at Greg Popovich, what his thinking is. You put Kevin Willis in, he has one foul. A physical player with one foul who's only going to play about 5 more minutes is a dangerous player because he can do whatever he wants on the floor.
Kobe drives all the way.
So can Kobe.
Kobe. Underneath, and Bowen is upset. The foul on San Antonio. Popovich angry as well. Foul is on Tim Duncan, and that's 4 on Duncan now. Bryant now has 25 points. Lakers have scored 4 straight, 84-74, 5.5 minutes to play. Fourth quarter. Ginobili all the way. Frustratingly rolling off the back iron. And then George to O'Neal. Whoa. Derek Fisher laid it up, and then Derek Fisher gets laid out. And it's an offensive foul. So Fish from the corner put up the alley-oop for Shaq to jam it home to make it an 8-point game, and now an offensive foul on San Antonio.
This is just a great pass. The old adage, you cannot front Shaquille O'Neal, and that's exactly what Kevin Willis did there. Derek Fisher sees it, throws it up to the rim.
And then the foul as he runs into Willis. Gets a facial. Here goes O'Neal. And the Lakers have made it a 6-point game. 17 points for the big man. Look at Fisher all over the floor, but they're going to say it was off him.
They're going to throw
a foul on him.
I got to tell you, unless I didn't see the angle where they say he threw him, I hate fouls on loose balls if both guys are diving after the ball.
Good point.
And to me, you cannot call a foul on anyone when you see 2 guys diving after the ball, just giving effort. That's one of the ones where you just have to let that one go.
Yeah, I mean, where was the foul?
No. Especially in penalty.
Parker at the free throw line, and we'll check in with Michelle.
Well, during that last timeout, Greg Popovich said, now we're shooting free throws better than we have been, but one thing I do want to see when we're at the free throw line, I want to see guys going to the offensive glass. He once accused his team of being the worst free throw shooting team in the league. Right now, he just wants to see rebounds if they miss, guys.
Again, we mentioned before, these teams last and next to last in free throw shooting. Spurs at the bottom. That's 24 points now for Parker to make it an 86-78 game. drop. Malone.
Malone is still close. Picking up that second tag. He's working the wrong guy in Joey Crawford right now.
Parker all the way.
He's dominated this game.
Fearless.
His speed has completely dominated this game thus far.
8-point game. Kobe has to save it along the sideline. Malone gives it to Payton. 88-82. 3:40 remaining. And Malone reaching in front, diving, couldn't knock it down. Lakers come back with it. And Malone went flying across the floor. Fade away. Ginobili with it.
That's amazing. You think about Karl Malone diving just to try to get deflection.
He launched himself.
Wow, basketball game.
And he's a lot of fun to watch.
He really is.
Duncan. Parker. Over Shaq. Too deep. Foul underneath.
And look at Greg Popovich. He is all over Tony Parker. And what he is saying is that stop settling for jump shots. You've been taking the ball to the basket all day. Don't start shooting jumpers now. Keep going to the basket, and he's right.
Nesterovic with the foul. That's 5 fouls now on Nesterovic. And don't forget Malone with 5. He's at 5 for a long time.
Now, Al, think about the time. It was an 8-point game when Kobe Bryant went over to Karl Malone, tapped him on the head, and told him to get himself together. Karl Malone, from that point on, has been huge down the stretch.
That's right. The foul was on Malone. The technical was on Malone. Kobe had Jackson called a play for Malone, and the game is now a 4-point game. 3 minutes remaining in L.A. 88-84. Ginobili whips it back out to Duncan. 3 from 17.
Who else can make that pass? Jason Kidd, maybe?
Yeah.
Again, dribble penetration is the reason the Spurs are scoring offensively.
Draw the defense. Bring it back outside. Bryant to Malone. Three-pointer from Gary Payton doesn't drop.
Huge stop. Now, the Lakers must get this stop.
Spurs trying to take it to 8. Into the corner, and it's an 8-point game. Make it a 9-point game. That's a 3-pointer for Parker.
And that's a dagger.
Oof. So no stop and a 3 to boot. 2 minutes to go, and San Antonio up by 9. That's 29 points for Parker. Bryant for 3. He's got that one.
As long as you have. Sure. This game, you look at it, and you see 2 of the past champions playing each other, flexing their muscles at the same time, and it's pretty good to watch.
World News tonight follows the game, except on the coast. That's 6 fouls now on Nesterovic. So the San Antonio center comes out of the game. Robert Horry will come back into the game with 1:27 left, and the Lakers going to the free throw line.
And you know, Nesterovic had a nice game, and obviously when a player fouls out, it hurts him. But when you can bring in a Robert Horry or a Kevin Willis down the stretch, veteran players, it's not a big loss for you.
Gary Payton on the season, a 70% free throw shooter. He's 5 of 6 today. And now 6 of 7 to make it a 5-point differential. Kobe whispering more than sweet nothings to Malone. 93-89. Parker, a season high, equaling 29 points. Duncan. Shaq coming out with him. Duncan, little floater, doesn't get anything. Minute 5 to go. Payton. Back to Kobe now. Shaq inside, working on Duncan. Payton inside to Shaq again. Doesn't get the bounce, and Duncan is there for the rebound. And Duncan gets fouled. Foul on. Loses the ball on his way down and has it taken away by Ginobili.
Good hands.
Again.
That's a huge win.
And San Antonio can run the clock all the way down. And while the Lakers were getting all of the national attention recently with an 11-game win streak, San Antonio was kind of sneaking up and getting healthier, and Duncan's knee was responding, and Ginobili was coming off the bench beautifully. And, Doc, they come away with a victory in L.A.
Yeah, this is how the Spurs' whole season has been. No